Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another installment of Night Skies of Fort Collins. Once again, my name is Ben Gondras, and I am the Dome Theater Manager at the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery. And it is my pleasure to bring this program to you to tell you a little bit about what you can find above the skies of Fort Collins in northern Colorado. Now, with that said, if you are watching from somewhere other than Fort Collins or Colorado, that is fine. As long as you're within the Northern Hemisphere, everything that I talk about tonight should be visible in your skies as well, given some slight variations on times based on exactly where you are on the Earth. And with that said, also, if you are watching tonight, I would love to know where you're watching from and who you're watching with. If you don't mind leaving a comment, whether you're watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, we are streaming to both places tonight. So feel free to leave a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I just kind of like to know who we're reaching with these programs. With that said, I also wanted to add a reminder that the Museum of Discovery is reopened. Unfortunately, we did have to close for a time, but we are reopened now, and we are open with a lot of precautions and different things to keep you, our visitors, safe so that you can come and visit us and check out some of our amazing exhibits in person once again. Now, I do encourage you to visit our website, fcmod.org/reopening, so that you can find out about everything that we are doing to keep everyone safe and healthy in this time. Awesome. So with that said, let's go ahead and, oh, Peggy, I meant geographic location. Sorry, that was confusing, but thank you for watching, Peggy. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So for tonight's program, we are going to be using an interactive planetarium software called Stellarium. And Stellarium is a really cool piece of software. It's actually free and open source, which means you can go to stellarium.org and download it for yourself. There is also a web version on their website, so you actually don't have to download anything at all. And this piece of software is really cool because it allows you to look at the sky from any location on the Earth at any time. And so you can use it to plan out your stargazing trips, to see what the sky looks like from another location on Earth, or just to have fun and look at the sky as it would appear. Hey, Stephanie, glad to see you're watching from up the street. Awesome. So, and also I wanted to mention this is a live program. As you can see, I'm reacting to your comments. So if you do have any questions during the show, feel free to leave those in the comments. There is a bit of a delay between when I see them and when I can actually respond to them. So if I don't get to them right away, that is fine. I will try to get to them eventually, and I will stick around for a couple of minutes afterwards to answer any other lingering questions that anyone might have. All right, so I think with all of that said, let's go ahead and jump into Stellarium and see what we can see in the night skies this week. So here we are looking west towards the sunset at the current time. And let's go ahead and move time faster than usual so that we can watch the sunset, so that we can see some stars. Now, tonight, as we continue our march towards the fall equinox, which is on September 22nd, tonight is actually the last night of the summer that the sun will be setting after 8 p.m. It's actually going to be setting at 8:01 p.m. tonight. And due to the tilt of the Earth's axis, which is at about 23.4 degrees, the sun will be setting earlier and earlier each evening until we reach the winter solstice on December 21st. And the winter solstice is, of course, the day that we have the least amount of sunlight, because the southern half of the Earth, the southern hemisphere, is actually tilted towards the sun, and the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. And after the winter solstice on December 21st, the daylight will begin once again lengthening until we reach the summer solstice next year, next June. So right now, the big news, obviously, you guys have probably heard about it, but it is the Perseid meteor shower. And I'm going to go ahead and turn us to the northeast so that we can set ourselves up to talk about the Perseid meteor shower. Now, the annual Perseid meteor shower is one of the most beloved meteor showers of the year, especially here in the northern hemisphere, because the shower peaks on warm summer nights. So it's a really great time to lay out and look up at the night sky to see this meteor shower. No matter where you live worldwide, the 2020 meteor shower will probably produce the greatest number of meteors on the mornings of August 11th, so yesterday morning, August 12th, this morning, and August 13th. Tomorrow morning. On the peak mornings in 2020, the moon will be at or slightly past its last quarter phase. So moonlight, unfortunately, will be a factor in this year's display. The moonlight does wash out some of the meteorites, but you do, if you do go out to check out the Perseid meteor shower, you might do best before the moon rises from about 11 p.m. through about midnight tonight is when moonrise happens. And if you want to check out the Perseid meteor shower, all you have to do, it's very easy. You don't need any special equipment or anything to check out the meteor shower. All you need to do is bring a reclining lawn chair or a blanket to a dark open spot where no local lights will get in your eyes. Lay back and gaze up into the stars, and you do have to be patient. As your eyes adapt to the dark, you may see a meteor every minute or so on average as night grows late. You'll see fewer, of course, under light pollution. All right, we're getting close to 11 p.m., so we're going to slow down time in Stellarium. All right, now I want to show you an image, and this is a composite image, which means it's actually multiple images taken over 8 nights, containing over 400 meteors from the 2018 August Perseid meteor shower, which shows many bright meteors that streaked over the Kolonica Observatory. And this is not exactly what you can expect to see. As I said, you can expect to see about a meteor every minute or so. However, this is just to illustrate just how impressive these meteor showers are if we could see all of these meteors in one night or over 8 nights at the same time. The best direction to look is wherever your sky is darkest. One second here. There we go. Usually that is directly overhead. The shower's radiant, or where the meteors seem to be coming from, is right here in the constellation of Perseus. Perseus, is, of course, is the hero of Greek mythology. And you can find Perseus directly under the constellation of Cassiopeia, the Queen, which is a very easy circumpolar constellation to find. Now, the alignment of the meteors with the stars of Perseus is actually a chance alignment. The stars in Perseus are light years distant, while the meteors burn up at about 60 miles above the Earth's surface. If any meteor survives its fury plunge to hit the ground intact, the remaining portion is called a meteorite. Few, if any, meteors in meteor showers actually become meteorites, however, because of the flimsy nature of comet debris. Most meteorites are actually the remains of rocky asteroids. So what exactly is the source Hi, are we back? I think I lost you guys for just a moment. Okay, it looks like we're back. Let me see if I've got audio here. Lost you guys. Okay, yep. All right, well, I'm sorry about that. We had a bit of a technical challenge there, but hopefully you guys are still with me. So I think I left off saying when people tend to focus on the peak mornings of meteor showers, and that's entirely appropriate. But meteors and annual showers typically last weeks, not days. The Perseid meteors have been streaking across our sky since July 17th, and we'll see Perseids for the next 10 days or so after the peak mornings on yesterday morning, this morning, and tomorrow morning, though at considerably reduced numbers. Yet each day as the moon wanes in the sky, less moonlight will obtrude on the show. Starting on or around August 17th, moon-free skies reign all night long. All right, so that should give you a bit of information about the Perseid meteor shower. Just to point out a few other things in the night sky tonight, if we continue moving time forward, we will see another bright object rising just below Perseus, and that object is, of course, the moon. And this is, you can see the moon is rising here, and this will wash out our view of the Perseid meteor shower, unfortunately. But as I said before, you should still be able to see the brightest of the meteors. And let's go ahead and zoom into the moon. The moon is currently in the constellation of Taurus, the Bull. If we zoom into the moon, we can see that the illuminated side of the moon is on the left, which means this is a waxing crescent moon. A waning crescent moon, which means the illumination is decreasing night after night as we move towards a new moon on August 18th. And just below the moon is the bright star Aldebaran. Aldebaran is the brightest star in the constellation of Taurus, the Bull. Also, just above the moon is an open star cluster known as the Pleiades, or the Seven Sisters. And people oftentimes mistake the Pleiades for the Little Dipper in the sky, as it's got kind of a Little Dipper shape. However, the Little Dipper is larger and is located in the northern sky, as the end of the handle of the Little Dipper is, of course, the North Star, or Polaris. But this is a very fun open star cluster to find. Up and to the left of the moon is the bright star Capella in the constellation of Auriga, the Charioteer. And if we look a little bit farther to the south, you'll see a bright orange or reddish object high in the sky. And you should be familiar with this object, especially if you have watched any of my Night Skies of Fort Collins shows in the past. But this object is, of course, the planet Mars, currently located in the constellation of Pisces, the fish. Let's go ahead and give Mars a closer look here. All right, here we see Mars, and way off to the left of the screen, oops, might have to zoom out a little bit, is moon of Mars, and to the right of Mars is another moon. So here we have Deimos and Phobos. So if you've got a telescope, you can check out these objects. And even if you don't have a telescope, you can easily spot Mars in the night sky. Oh, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was just a meteor streaking across. That was pretty cool. And if we look to the south, or the southwest now, as we're at about 2 a.m. here, local time, we can see two other bright objects. And these, of course, are the bright planets of Jupiter and Saturn. And Jupiter and Saturn are trailing right behind the constellation of Sagittarius. And in fact, this late in the morning, you can see Sagittarius is actually setting below that southwestern horizon. Yeah, that was pretty cool, right, Andy? And And Jupiter and Saturn are two of the brightest objects in the evening sky right now. Almost an hour, or about an hour after sunset, they should actually be right above the southern horizon. And let's go ahead and zoom in to Jupiter. So here we can see Jupiter as well as some of its Galilean moons. We have Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, which if you've got a telescope, these are also very great targets to look at. If you do have a nice telescope, you can even see the bands along Jupiter's cloudy surface. And let's go ahead and check out Saturn. Here we can see Saturn joined by some of its moons, and of course, its very impressive ring system. I think Saturn is one of the coolest things that I've looked at through a telescope, as you can clearly see its rings sticking out to either side of it. All right. And if we look high overhead, well, kind of actually in the western sky now at this hour, but earlier in the evening, if we look high overhead, we can see the three stars that make up the asterism known as the Summer Triangle. So here we have Altair, the brightest star in the constellation of Aquila, or the Eagle. Vega, the brightest star in the constellation of Lyra, the Harp. And Deneb, the brightest star in the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan. And these three bright stars make up the Summer Triangle, which frames our Milky Way galaxy nicely for us. You can see the Milky Way going from Sagittarius here through Cassiopeia, all the way through Perseus. All right. Well, I think that about wraps up everything that I wanted to show you guys for tonight. But once again, if you do have questions for me, please feel free to leave those in the comments and I will answer them. I'll stick around for just a few moments here. But I also wanted to mention that if you did enjoy tonight's program, I do encourage you, if you are able to visit our website at fcmod.org/donate to make a donation of any size so that we can continue to bring these programs to you and to tell you about the night skies above you. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, and especially if you stuck around through that brief technical hiccup that I had earlier. Hopefully some of you did stick around. And if you don't have any questions and want to get out of here, feel free. We do have lots of other programs to check out, though. Tomorrow night, actually, we have a Discovery Live Ask an Expert. So we've done Ask a Scientist before, but this one's going to be a little bit different. We are partnering with Elevations Credit Union to bring you a couple of financial experts, as well as a couple of economists. So if you have any burning questions about finances, about the economy, especially in this time, be sure to tune in at 5 p.m. for that program, and you can leave questions, and I will be hosting actually, and so I will relay those questions to the experts. Eliana would like to know if you know where the Mars rover is now. Oh man, that is a really great question, and let me see if I can pull up the application that I showed you guys last week. Give me just a minute. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Give me just 1 second. All right. So here's that application that I showed you guys last week. This is called NASA Eyes on the Solar System. And this is actually another really cool free piece of software that NASA offers. And you can go and download it from NASA Eyes. I think it's nasaeyes.gov. But this shows you where a lot of different missions are. You can see a lot of different space satellites out here orbiting the sun along with us. But if we zoom into the Mars 2020 mission, you can see that it is still pretty close to Earth. Oops, let me go back a little bit. So here is Earth right here, and you can see it is increasing its orbit around the sun, so it has actually become a satellite of the sun itself. So it is increasing its orbit to reach Mars. We can go and zoom in on it. And once again, the Mars 2020 mission is scheduled to arrive at Mars on February 18th of 2021. So this coming February is when we should expect it to reach Mars and land. So that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for the question, Eliana. Awesome. And I should also mention on Friday morning, we have story time with one of our educators. Charlotte is going to be reading this time, and it's going to be a book all about the moon called A Moon of My Own, which is, I think, one of my favorite books that we have in our library at the museum. So be sure to tune in for that at 10:30 as well. All right, well, if no one else has any questions, then I once again just want to thank you all for joining me here tonight, and I hope to see you at one of our programs online or in person at the museum. And yeah, hope we'll see you soon. All right, have a great night, everyone.